Okay, so I've checked my spacing and it looks good enough for me. I've spaced it. There's a 40 pixel distance between them. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create this button here, more options button, and then the thing that will follow after that will be the color button and then the numbers. So to create the more options button, instead of designing it or drawing it from scratch, I'll just duplicate what I have. I'll just, instead of creating it from scratch, I'll just duplicate the apply now button and then modify it a bit to suit my more questions button. So let me make the distance. Yeah, 60 seems good enough. 60 seems okay. So I double click. Since it's a group, I have to double click in order to select only the rectangular shape. So I double click and I select just the rectangular shape, and then I stretch it a bit, as you can see here. Then I change, let me reduce this text size a bit to 20. So I change it from apply now to more questions. Good. Okay, so if you notice in the button, there's a circular thing with an icon, a forward icon inside it. So I'm going to create my circular thing or spherical shape. So I go to the shape tools, click on the down arrow, and then select my ellipse. I want to draw a correct circle. So to do that, I press and hold shift, and then I create my circle. Good. Good. This looks good enough. So I'm just going to change the color from this to white. Yeah, it works for me. Then once again, I go back to Iconify to find an icon that matches that. So let me just say forward. Search for forward. This matches that. So I drag this here into my working space once again. I close this and then move this into my shape I created earlier. Okay, let me make it a bit bigger. 26 seems good enough. Okay, so I group the shape with my circular tool, and then I group this. Let me ungroup the button first so that I can group all of them together and they become one. Command J on my keyboard. Okay, great. So the next thing I'm going to do, but if you notice here, you realize there's a shadow around the button, right? So I'm going to create a shadow. With my button selected, I just click on effect here, and then you see it gives me a subtle shadow. So I click on the effect settings, and then let me make the blur 20, and then this 30, the Y4. Okay, let's make it 30. Let me make the blur 30, see how it looks. Okay, so this looks good enough. This looks good enough. To preview, you can just click on the play button up here. It loads and gives you a preview of the design. Great. So this is how my design looks. It's in progress. This is how it looks. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce this text color a bit, and then reduce the sizes, the icon sizes as well. I said the icon, the menu item options, there are sizes as well. So I reduce it to 20. Reduce this to 20 as well. And change the font weight from semi-bold to medium, and then reduce the intensity a bit. So when I look here, yeah, it looks a bit better now, but the spacing between the menu items are a bit too much. So I have to reduce the space a bit. To do that, let me reduce it to 50. See how it looks. Move it a bit here, closer to the button. Check my spacing between them. Let me see how it looks. This doesn't look bad. Let me bring this text up a bit. So 20 seems to look okay. Yeah, 20 is good enough. Let's move the button up a bit. So let's see how it looks. 50. Yes, looks good. Looks good. So I just have to bring this up a bit. Maybe reduce this from 200 to 250 to 200. 250 to 200. See how it looks. Let me reduce the width a bit to 540. Okay, so this looks good. This looks good. I think I'll still have to reduce the spaces between over here. Good. I love what I'm seeing. Okay, let's reduce this a bit. And center the text inside it. Okay. This looks good enough. This looks good. This looks good. Okay, so moving on, the next thing we are going to do is we are going to be designing this button, this call button. Once again, we select our ellipse 2 and then create a circle. Sorry. Once again, we select our ellipse 2 and create a circle. Once again, we select our ellipse 2 by pressing O on the keyboard and then create a circle. A circle of the same height, so let me make this 60. Yeah. Good. Change it to white. Change the color of the circle to white and then create the shadow. Make the shadow 30. Let's make it 20. Let's see how it looks in the preview. Let's reduce our color intensity a bit. Okay, let's see how it looks. Okay, let's make it 15. Okay, so this looks good enough. So the next thing we are going to do is we are going to look for the phone icon from Iconify once again. So I just pull it up and then search for phone. Okay, I'm good with this, so I just drag it onto my artboard. And then I center it. Then I group it. Okay, so yeah, I have my shape here. I think I have to reduce the size a bit because it looks a bit too big here. So I'll just reduce it a bit. 25. I think 25 should be good enough. So I reduce it and I center it in my circle once again. When I finish, I group it. Okay, so it looks good enough. The next thing I'm going to do is create my text. The number we have here, 866312437. Uh-oh. What's the number again? 866312437. Cool. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the opacity. Since this has 50, so I'll increase it to 80 and then change the font weight to semi-bold so that it becomes more visible, like what we have in the original design. Then I'll give it a 15 pixel space. Let's see how it looks. Good. It looks good. We are almost there. So the next thing we're going to do in this design is we are going to create the icons at the far. So next thing we're going to do in this design is we're going to create the icons at the far right. So we have Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and I don't know whatever this is. So we just create 3 of the icons since only 3 of the icons are recognizable to me. Once again, back to Iconify. Yeah, I know we utilize Iconify a lot in this session. So I'll search for Facebook. Good. So Facebook pops up. I select the options that is okay for me. Okay. So this time I want to find all my icons before I close Iconify so that I don't have to keep coming back here. Yeah. So I found Facebook. The next thing is LinkedIn. So I'll type LinkedIn here. See how it looks. Okay, this looks good enough for me. So I'll drag this here. Modify it a bit. Make it small enough and place it under. Okay, so what's the next icon? We have Twitter. Cool. So pick one of the icons that seems good enough for me, drag it to mine. And then once again. So I'm going to make the final icon a random one by just searching social media and choosing whichever one is not on our list here. So social media. Okay, nothing showed. So I guess I'll actually have to look for something. We have Instagram here, Facebook. We have Twitter. What social media out there? Okay, so we'll look for Snapchat. Yeah, let's just look for Snapchat. Okay. This should be good enough. Alright, so now that I have all my icons, I'm now coming to fix the size well. So I resize it by either using the options here or just using the size inputs up there to change the sizes. This seems a bit too small, so this is what's the size, and make this smaller. 35. Let me see. They're a bit too small, so I have to make it smaller. Let me see how it looks here. Okay, I have to make it smaller. So I think this should be no too small. 18, 17 should be okay. Small. 28 should be okay. 28. Let me see the size of this. Let me center them using the center button. I left Facebook out. Okay, and then distribute the space between them evenly. Then move it closer to my grid edge. Let's see how it looks here. Looks good enough. So from this design, the only thing I have to do is reduce the color opacity. So I change it to 40. Let's see how it looks in our design. 40 looks good enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift this a bit closer to our icons here. Let's make it 50. Great. So 50 looks good enough. Okay, so we are left with some few things I almost forgot. So we have these buttons here, and then we have this call button. So to create this, once again, I'll just duplicate this here, ungroup this, delete the icon already available, change the color from white to black, and make it 80 black. Okay, let me just make it black. Okay. Go to Iconify once again. Search for headphones. Okay, so I just select the first icon I'm okay with. Let's see, one closer to, yeah, this one looks close to what is there. So I'll use this. So I drag this to my artboard and I resize it. Change the color. Resize it. Make it small enough to fit the small circle I have down there. Yeah, a bit smaller. Let me make it 30. And then center it in my shape. And then finally group it. Let's see how it looks. Okay, looks good enough. So now we have our final thing, which is these two shapes. Once again, I'll just duplicate this instead of doing it from scratch. Ungroup it and delete the phone icon. Make the circle a bit smaller. Let's make it the 50 by 50. Yeah, 50 by 50 looks good enough. Let's see. Let me see. Is 50 a bit too big? Okay, 50 looks okay. Let me make it 45 and see. Okay, 45 looks good too. So let's maintain 45. Okay, so once again, back to Iconify, our favorite plugin for the session, and then search forward once again. Forward. Let's see what I have something close. Okay, so this is close to what is there. I drag this and then use it in the design. Let me center it in the circle. Yeah, it's okay. I don't think, okay, let me make it slightly, move it to 25 and then center it. Then group it. Good. So I have my first button down. Then I just duplicate this to create the next one. To create the next one, I just have to double click to select the forward icon, and then right click on that icon and then flip horizontal. I'm done. I'm good to go. When we compare our design, realize it's similar. We are done, and that was it. I told you it was going to be a very simple design. There you have it. I hope you enjoyed the session. If you have any concerns or any questions, you can send it my way, and I'll try my best to answer everything as clearly as possible. Thank you very much, and do have a lovely day or evening, depending on whichever time you're watching this course. Till next time, bye bye.